You know what's wild about the NBA today? We live in an era where players' wives have bigger platforms than most actual NBA stars. Social media, podcasts, reality shows. These women can reach millions of people with the click of a button. And, for the most part, they handle it pretty well. But then there are cases like Ayesha Curry, where every few years, without fail, she opens her mouth and says something so tone-deaf, so embarrassing, that it makes you wonder, does she even realize what she's doing to her husband's reputation? This isn't just one viral clip going around. It's a decade-long pattern that keeps resurfacing at the worst possible times for one of basketball's cleanest superstars. And the latest episode, it might be the most damaging yet. Picture this: Steph Curry, the greatest shooter in basketball history, 4 championships, 2 MVPs, worth nearly $240 million, and a brand built on precision, poise, and perfection. This dude changed the entire game of basketball and has maintained one of the cleanest images in professional sports. But every few years, like clockwork, a new comment, a new clip, a new headline drags his name into a conversation he didn't start and can't control. And honestly, it's getting embarrassing. Before we break down the full timeline, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, because what we're about to uncover explains why the backlash keeps getting worse. And trust me, the next clip could drop at any moment. A few weeks ago, clips from Ayesha Curry's appearance on the Call Her Daddy podcast started making the rounds, and the internet absolutely lost its mind. On the show, Ayesha opened up about never planning on marriage or kids, describing herself as a career girl who got pregnant so quickly after the wedding that she didn't have time to process what she actually wanted. But here's the kicker. She admits she still wrestles with these identity issues to this day. Listen to what she said.
I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it.
Can you imagine what her kids are going to think when they grow up and see this clip? Your mom on a podcast talking about how she never wanted you in the first place? That's going to need some serious therapy to unpack. The internet didn't just react to the honesty, it reacted to the complete lack of awareness. Because when you're married to Steph Curry, living in a $30 million mansion with a net worth of $50 million, maybe choose your words a little more carefully when you're talking about sacrifice. This timeline goes way deeper than just one podcast, and the pattern you're about to see will blow your mind. Critics called it tone deaf, supporters begged for grace, and once again, Steph's pristine image got dragged into cleanup duty for a mess he didn't make. But to understand why people are so fed up this time, we need to go back to where it all started. June 16th, 2016, Game 6 of the NBA Finals. The scene: Golden State up 3-2, one win away from back-to-back championships. LeBron drops 41 points, Steph fouls out in crunch time, throws his mouthpiece into the crowd, and the Warriors lose 115-101. The series is heading to Game 7, and emotions are running sky high. That's when Ayesha decided to tweet the words that would haunt the Curry family for years. "I've lost all respect. Sorry, this is absolutely rigged for money or ratings. I'm not sure which. I won't be silent. Just saw it live. Sorry, think about that for a second." This woman just accused the entire NBA, the league that made her family incredibly wealthy and famous, of rigging the finals on Twitter for everyone to see. During the most legacy-defining moment of her husband's career, the tweet went viral instantly. Sports analysts went nuts. Some suggested maybe Steph should take away her Twitter access. And Steph? He had to deal with the fallout while trying to focus on Game 7 of the freaking finals. She later deleted the tweet and apologized, saying she was just caught up in the heat of the moment. But the damage was done. That night felt like the first time a post-game emotion became a long-term PR nightmare for the Curry brand. Fast forward to 2019, and Ayesha makes what might be her most infamous appearance ever. Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett Smith. And if you know anything about that show, you know it's where relationships go to die. Sitting right next to Steph's mom, his mom, Ayesha drops this bomb.
Something that really bothers me and honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that, yeah, like there are all these women like throwing themselves, but me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention.
Let me get this straight. You're married to Steph Curry. You have a beautiful family. You're successful in your own right. And you're on national television complaining about not getting attention from other men? The internet went absolutely nuclear. Memes flooded Twitter within hours. People were saying, "Ma'am, you're married to the greatest shooter of all time, and you're worried about random dudes not hitting on you." Even Steph's mom, sitting right there, told her that kind of thinking could get real dangerous. That's your husband's mother warning you on national television that what you're saying could destroy your marriage. But here's Jada Pinkett Smith, the same woman who later admitted to having an entanglement with her son's friend, giving Ayesha advice on marriage. You can't make this stuff up. By 2023, you'd think Ayesha would have learned her lesson. But nope. During an appearance on The Real, a shirtless server named Marcel walks onto the set. And what does Ayesha do? She pretends to slip off her wedding ring on national television while married to Steph Curry. Look, I get that it was supposed to be a joke, but if the roles were reversed and Steph was pretending to take off his ring around some cocktail waitress on a podcast, both men and women would think that was completely out of line. And in the same interview, she decides to tell the world about Steph's foot fetish.
My husband really loves my feet. What? So I always say, like, when he says to send nudes, like, that's what he's getting, a picture of my bare feet.
Some things are better kept private, especially when your husband is one of the most famous athletes in the world, and every word you say becomes a headline. If you're starting to see the pattern here, and understanding the timeline makes the latest controversy hit so much harder. Here's what really gets people fired up about Ayesha's comments: the complete lack of self-awareness about how fortunate her situation is. When she talks about giving up her career to support Steph, let's be real about what that career was. She moved to LA at 18 to pursue acting and landed small parts in shows like Hannah Montana and some B movies. That's it. She met Steph when they were teenagers at a church youth group. They reconnected years later and got married in 2011 when she was 22. Her big career sacrifices? A few bit parts as a teenager. But here's what's really wild. All of her major success came after marrying Steph, not before. Her first cookbook, 2016. Her Food Network show, 2016. Sweet July lifestyle brand. The Warriors won their first championship in 2015. Do you see the pattern? Her platform, her opportunities, her entire brand was built on being Steph Curry's wife. And there's nothing wrong with that. She clearly has talent and worked hard to capitalize on those opportunities. But don't act like you sacrificed some booming acting career when the timeline doesn't match up. Compare that to women who actually do sacrifice their careers for their families. Women who work jobs they hate to pay the bills. When Ayesha talks about sacrifice, it comes across as tone-deaf to people living in the real world. Want to see how it's done right? Look at Savannah James. She's been with LeBron since high school, has built her own brand and charitable efforts, but you'll never catch her on a podcast complaining about her life or taking off her ring around shirtless dudes. She supports LeBron publicly, stays out of controversy, and handles the spotlight with grace. That's the standard people compare Ayesha to, and she keeps falling short. Or look at how other NBA wives navigate social media. They're careful about optics. They understand that every post reflects on their husband's brand, and they act accordingly. But Ayesha, she keeps treating every interview like therapy, sharing her deepest insecurities and frustrations with millions of strangers instead of working through them privately. Through all of this, Steph has handled the situation with incredible grace. When rapper Killer Mike commented that Ayesha was embarrassing him, Steph defended his wife publicly. "You're better than that. Stay in your lane and let God keep blessing me like he is. We're good over here." That's what a supportive husband does. He's consistently praised Ayesha over the years, called her his best friend, and had her back through every controversy. But imagine being in his position. You're trying to be the greatest basketball player of all time. You're maintaining a spotless reputation. You're building generational wealth for your family. And every few years, your wife goes on a podcast and creates a media firestorm that you have to clean up. The quiet tax of being an icon is that even when you stay silent, you get drafted into storylines you never wanted to be part of. Each episode forces Steph to manage a narrative that runs completely parallel to what he actually cares about: basketball, faith, and family. When your image is immaculate, every external storm looks massive against a clear sky. Look, Ayesha isn't a villain. She's a high-visibility spouse trying to figure out her identity while living under cameras that never stop rolling. That pressure is real, and those feelings are valid, but the platform magnifies everything. When you have access to millions of people, your words carry weight whether you intend them to or not. And when you've built a track record of viral moments that embarrass your family, maybe it's time to be more strategic about what you share publicly. The pattern is clear: authenticity without awareness, vulnerability without context, truth without timing. In a house built on precision and perfect shooting form, words can still miss badly if you don't line up the shot correctly. After a decade of clips and controversies, the question isn't whether Ayesha's intentions are good. It's whether she understands the impact of her words on her family's brand. One viral sentence can overwrite years of good work. One tone-deaf comment can become the story for months. And when you're married to someone as successful as Steph Curry, that's a luxury the family can't afford. The fix isn't silence. It's calibrated honesty. Share your truth, but frame it with gratitude. Be vulnerable, but remember your platform. Tell your story, but don't forget how blessed the story actually is. Because at the end of the day, millions of people would trade places with Ayesha Curry in a heartbeat. And when you're living a life that others can only dream about, maybe lead with appreciation before you get to the complaints. That's a wrap on this deep dive into the Ayesha Curry timeline. What do you think? Is she just being honest about her struggles? Or does she need to be way more aware of how her words land when you're living that blessed? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let me know which moment you think crossed the line the most. The 2016 rigged NBA tweet, the Red Table Talk male attention comments, the ring incident on The Real, or this latest Call Her Daddy podcast appearance. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications because we've got more NBA content coming that goes way beyond the highlights and box scores. Share this with any basketball fan who only saw the latest clip, but missed the full timeline of how we got here. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Until then, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.